Fore Please.
Oh, what a shot. Oh, yes,
Have you seen anything like that?
Fore Please. Now driving.
Hello everyone, welcome to Fore Please Now Driving, the official Masters podcast. I'm Marty Smith. For the 7th consecutive year, I have the tremendous blessing of being your host this week, and for that I am grateful beyond description. Monday at the Masters is a rite of spring, a day that ushers in the beauty and the tradition we cherish so deeply and so dearly here in Augusta, even when the weather doesn't always comply. Periodic rain showers throughout the day interrupted Monday's practice round for the 96 players who qualified for the 89th edition of the greatest stage in golf. One quick note, that 96-player field is now 95. 2000 Masters champion Vijay Singh withdrew due to injury. We wish him a speedy recovery. On this Monday, we'll chat extensively with two-time Masters champion Bernhard Langer, back in Augusta after missing 2024 with a torn Achilles tendon. With his return, he is primed to get started in his 41st Masters. Also joining us is Augusta National Women's Amateur Champion Carla Bernat Escuder, the first ANWA participant ever to card 3 rounds in the 60s, posting 3 consecutive 4 under par 68s. And Gabby Herzig, golf writer for The Athletic, joins to look back at ANWA and to look ahead at the Masters. How to describe perfection? Something devoid of blemish. Something so flawless it leaves witnesses speechless. A platform that delivers time and again, so often and so dramatically that you know you're witnessing history while it happens. I've pondered how best to describe the grounds here at Augusta National, but perfection is multifaceted and diverse and mysterious and almost beyond rational thought. Nothing is perfect, right? Because in most cases, perfection carries a different set of parameters for each of us. But not Augusta. We can all agree Augusta is perfect. That's what I was thinking Sunday morning. I stood on the 13th fairway as the most wonderful week of the year dawned, awestruck by the panorama. Humbled by the opportunity just to stand there. The grass was so green, the azaleas so pink, the bunkers so white, the pin flags so yellow. I commented that I felt like I was standing inside a painting. Designed by Bobby Jones and Clifford Roberts in 1932, I wondered what they might say standing beside me, because you have to figure they are. And you know they're smiling at what their dream has become. The premier stage for their shared passion. The pinnacle stage for the greatest players in the world, who later this week will try to capture perfection themselves, cloaked in green. This is my 10th consecutive Masters, and no matter how well I know the history, no matter how many incredible moments I witnessed through the years, I am never not awestruck by the beauty at Augusta and the aura of the Masters. For the 7th time, we are so proud to bring you Fore Please Now Driving, the official Masters podcast. Welcome to the 89th Masters. Welcome to perfection. Bernhard Langer, the 1985 and 1993 Masters champion, has achieved rare longevity at Augusta National. His 40 career starts here rank 12th all-time, and his class is esteemed. His hope is that his legacy is one that embodies honesty and integrity. First, thank you so much for your time, and you're such a gentleman. You're such a legend in the game, and certainly here at Augusta National. As you eye your 41st start in the Masters, your final round here as a competitive player, what races through your mind?
A lot of things. It's over 40 years of competing here. What comes to my mind is the first memories just arriving here as a young man from Bavaria, growing up in a little village, having no idea what it was going to be like to be a professional golfer, and getting the invitation in the mail to play the Augusta Masters in 1982 after winning the European money list the year before was just a thrill in the Langer household. And then to drive down Magnolia Lane and see this beautiful place, manicured as better than anything I'd ever seen. Greens so fast that they were just scary. I had 11 times 3 putts in 36 holes in the first competition here, and learned my lesson quickly. When the next time I came back, I had to pay more attention to the greens. So there was a lot for me to learn and a lot to soak in and take in, but it was mostly good. And thankfully I was a quick learner and managed a lot better second time around.
So that was the first time. Now you're here more than 40 times. There must be a really unique emotion that comes with the last one for you. What is the emotion you feel?
Yeah, it's going to be bittersweet, I think, whenever, whether it's Friday or Sunday, especially I imagine when I come up 18, and it's really going to sink in that this is going to be my last competitive round, my last competitive few strokes that I'll ever make in my life around here again. And that's going to be hard. But I'm going to try and enjoy it and have, with my family, my 4 kids are here, 3 of my grandkids, friends from all over the world going to be here to support me. And it's going to be a celebration, and hopefully I won't make a fool of myself.
I don't think that's going to happen no matter what. I can see in your eyes the emotion right now. I can see tears welling for you.
Yeah, I'm very close. My voice is almost breaking. Just thinking about it, it's just been so meaningful, for over 4 decades, what this tournament has meant to me, how it has evolved, and how much I love coming back here to these hollow places and play Amen Corner, play any of the holes, just to be up in the Champions Locker with all the legends up there and share stories and have a meal together or whatever it may be, and to have experienced all the changes they have made. I mean, this tournament has evolved more than any other tournament, I believe. I know it has. There's no tent. It's all solid buildings. They just do everything top notch, not just for the players or the champions, but also for the patrons. The experience is just better than anywhere else, and it's wonderful. And they're gonna keep doing and improving this place like no other.
1985 and 1993. When you put that jacket on your back in 1985, how did that impact your life?
Well, I think it didn't change me as a person a great deal, but it certainly had an impact on how people viewed me probably as a golfer, because everywhere I went from that point on, I was introduced as Masters Champion. And when you win a major, you get elevated to that next level, to that very small group of people that have won a major. And obviously, financially, it had a huge impact in my life. I started earning a lot more money than I did before, and life became a little bit easier because of that. I could afford nicer hotels, better food. I could afford a professional caddy without having to think twice, and even fly private every once in a while and things like that, which made it easier to perform better because you got to the next tournament more rested, you were in a nicer hotel, you slept better, you just had more energy, and life became a little bit easier on the road.
What do you remember about what it took from you to win in 1985?
Well, every tournament takes out a lot of every player, because we give our heart and soul. We try the hardest we can possibly try, and sometimes we try too hard and it doesn't work out. I just remember, I was trying to get into contention because I had finished second in the Open Championship, British Open in 81 and 84, and I was tired of finishing second, literally, and I wanted to get this major win. And I remember walking off the 9th green on Sunday, being paired with Seve Ballesteros in the second last group. And I walked off and I had a quick glance to my right and I saw the leaderboard there on the 18th green. And I was 4 shots behind Curtis Strange, who was at the time the leader. And as I walked to the 10th tee, I was telling myself, man, you're 4 shots behind. You got to give it all. Just go for broke. It doesn't matter if you want to win. You either win or you're going to finish. It doesn't matter if you finish second or fifth or 50th. You got to go for it. So I'm literally went for broke. I went for every flag, which is not always the smartest thing to do, especially on some of the holes and where the flags were. Like 11, it was near the water, almost got in the water. 12, you don't normally go for that flag. I went straight at it. But things, went well for me. I was 5 under par for the next 8 holes on the back 9. And Curtis Strange got into some trouble, hit it in the water, I think, twice on 13 and 15, the 2 par 5s. And I'm birdieing 17 now, and I look at the leaderboard again, and I went from 4 behind to 2 ahead. So I got 1 more hole to go, and I'm walking off the 17th green to the 18th tee shot, and Seve, who I was paired with, comes and puts his hand on my shoulder and says, "Hey, Bernhard, well done, great birdie, and, you're going to be the champion, you deserve this, And I'm going, well, that's very nice, Seve, but I still got a very hard hole to play. We're not
Right.
We're not done yet. I'm
2
shots ahead, and Curtis still has to play 17 behind me, so he can birdie too, that kind of thing. But it all turned out well for me, and I was able to, put the first green check at and keep it for a year and travel with it. That was fun.
And 8 years later, you do it again. What stands out about 1993?
It was a very different experience. This time I played really well the first 3 days and actually had a 4-shot lead going into Sunday. But that dwindled down to 1 coming to Amen Corner. And I had to really get myself together and play very well the last 8 holes to not lose my lead. I never lost the lead, but it dwindled down to 1, which is nothing. And I was fortunate to make some birdies, and my closest competitors struggled more than I did on these last few holes, especially Dan Forshman when he hit it in the water, I think twice on 12. And then I was able to eagle 13 and pull further ahead of Chip Beck and birdied 15 as well. So it was a very different experience standing on the 18th tee with a 4-shot lead. And I figured even I couldn't screw up a 4-shot lead. And I really enjoyed, the walk up 18 and getting a standing ovation. And just I could smile, I could relax, I could soak it all in. Because in 85, I still had to grind to hopefully win. This time it was assured I would win, and if there were any critics who thought the first time was lucky, I silenced them by winning by 4 shots.
In the 88 times that this tournament has been played, only 18 men have more than 1 green jacket. What does it mean to you to be in that company with Jack Nicklaus and Tiger Woods and Arnold Palmer and all of those historically legendary champions?
Well, I'm not in their league, but I'm one of those 18 anyways, and I'm very blessed to have been there and enjoyed that journey. I enjoyed being part of the past champions dinner with the people you just mentioned and many others, and to be able to play a practice round with some of them and to share some special moments, whether it's having a drink or having a meal together or sitting at the past champions dinner or whatever it may be, just to be able to share some thoughts and pick their brains about the game or other things. It's been some wonderful memories, and I will treasure those forever.
You mentioned the Champions Dinner. It must be so fun and fulfilling to go every Tuesday night of Masters Week and spend that time with those great champions.
Absolutely.
What do you love most about that time?
Well, the most, it's the food is always good, but the most is just the camaraderie and the time we're together. You know, just cocktails before you have a drink or two with the others, and you just talk and share stuff and spend some quality time with, you know, the people you normally play against and compete against. But we have something in common. We're Masters champions, and we truly appreciate it and embrace it. And we try to represent the Masters tournament in the best possible fashion that we can. I think, you know, we've had some wonderful older gentlemen like Arnold Palmer and Jack Nicklaus and Hogan and Byron Nelson, Crenshaw, and they've been great role models to us. And I think we try to be great role models for the next generation, and on it goes. It's a tradition in the game of golf, and I think it's been handled very well.
As a father, what will it mean to you to have your son on the bag this week here in your final Masters?
No, it's the coolest thing to have, you know, your kids inside the ropes. That's one of the reasons I enjoy playing the PNC Championship, the Father-Sons Championship, so much, was because you play with one of your kids and show them what you go through, you know, most days of the year, and what you experience inside the ropes with other legends of the game and their kids. But here, it's very unique. It's going to be his first time caddying for me at the Masters, and hope he's going to be as excited as I am. It's going to be a very special time for us the next few days.
Last thing, and I'll let you go. I know you have a lot of obligations and people who want to see you and shake your hand and hug your neck. As you look back over this amazing career, what do you hope your legacy is?
Well, hopefully I'm not just known as a good golfer and somebody that inspired, you know, the younger generation, the next generation, or even the older generation now, as I'm still playing very good golf in my mid-60s. Hopefully there's more to it. I'd like to be remembered as a Christian man who has faith in God, and also one that lives by the golden rule, that treats everybody the way he would like to be treated.
Well, you are a wonderful gentleman, and we thank you so much for your time. Thank you for inspiring us for all of these years, and have a great time this week.
Appreciate it. Thank you. My pleasure.
Joining us now is Gabby Herzig, golf writer for The Athletic, does an absolutely fantastic job covering all things golf. So grateful for your time today. Thank you for all the hard work you do, making sure we're all updated on the sport all the time. First, how do you describe the Masters experience from your perspective?
Yeah, thank you so much for having me, Marty. It's great to be here. The Masters experience is difficult to describe because of how unique it is. I mean, I always tell people when I come here, and this is my second year covering the tournament as a journalist, it kind of feels like you're going on a trip to Mars for a week. You're basically stepping into another universe. You know, when you drive and walk through those gates, it just opens up, and you see, you know, every single blade of grass. None of them are out of place. The bunkers are so perfectly manicured. The clubhouse, those nostalgic images of the green and white umbrellas, the white caddy suits, everything feels familiar but so new at the same time. So it's a little bit contradictory because the place has, you know, withstood the test of time so well, but then every year you come back and there's something new to discover in a way. So that's what I love about it. And the Masters experience is something that, you know, I'm always asked about it. There's never a short of questions that people want to know when I come back from Augusta National, and I could talk about it for hours. So that's a broad explanation of the experience, but I truly don't think you can put it into words until you've actually been here and stepped foot on the property yourself. And that exclusivity aspect makes it so special as well, because when you do get that opportunity, it does feel like a once in a lifetime.
What's your most memorable moment during your time here?
I spoke about this a little bit, but I actually came to the tournament when I was, I think, 11 or 12 years old with my dad and my grandparents. And one of my most memorable moments is actually just, all the memories of that week as a whole. Just I remember just sitting baking in the Georgia sun and just feeling like I don't want to be anywhere else right now. Sitting behind the 18th green when it was Charles Schwartzel that won that year. I remember we got there super early in the morning to set up our chairs and have them waiting for us when we got there to watch all the players come in. And I remember so vividly sitting there and seeing the manual leaderboard and the numbers being replaced as Charles kept making birdies down the stretch. And every time one of those numbers would come off the board and be replaced with a lower one, there was a roar just at that gesture. And I think that's one of the things that makes the Masters so special is you're not sitting there with any technology. You have no idea what's going on in the other parts of the golf course. You just kind of have to be there and sit there in the moment. And this most simple thing like replacing a 6 with a 7 can provoke the biggest roar you've ever heard around that 18th green. And I remember sitting there next to my dad and my grandparents who are still with us today and are some of my biggest inspirations in the game of golf. They are who introduced me to the game when I was 6 years old and are probably the reason I'm sitting here today with you. And just being able to experience that with them was one of the coolest memories I've definitely had here.
In what ways do you think maybe that day might have been a catalyst for your passion to follow your current career path?
Oh, I think it was huge. I mean, it was one of those weekends where I referenced it for probably every year until now. Right. And now I have new Masters memories to associate with actually working the tournament and writing about the players and the winner and experience it from a media perspective. But for my entire golfing life, that was my core, viewing experience as a young golfer and looking back and thinking about the pressure that those players feel on these stages. I remember we were actually on the 10th hole when Rory McIlroy kind of started to unravel in that 2011 Masters, and just the energy that was in the air there. It was unlike anything I've ever experienced, and I still remember it to this day. And just thinking about competing in junior golf tournaments, the nerves that I already feel. Imagine what these guys are feeling trying to win a major, let alone the Masters. So it's definitely something, I think, a reference point for me, and it was huge throughout my upbringing in golf and now in media.
Carla Bernat Escuder prevails in the Augusta National Women's Amateur, and she stepped up when that pressure was right in front of her.
Yes.
And made shot after shot after shot. What did you see from her that you think enabled her to have that type of fortitude and that type of poise?
Absolutely, yeah. I don't think she shied away from anything, which was really cool to see, because the other names at the top of the leaderboard, even Lottie Wood, who won last year, just seemed to be a little off in that final round. And I distilled that all down to the pressure that you feel when you step onto the first tee at Augusta National. It can overwhelm you. And I think she was kind of flying under the radar, which is a good position to be at Augusta National. And she embraced it all. I mean, one of the things that I loved about her performance specifically was the emotion that she showed after every shot. She wasn't one of those players that, tries to contain it all, tries to, keep her gaze down, like we kind of see Scottie Scheffler doing. There are different types of personalities in this game, and she really had one that she wears all on her sleeve, taking deep sighs of relief when she finds the green on the 18th hole, fist pumping those birdie putts. I thought it was really awesome how she laid it all out there for everyone, and that shows the type of person that can win here.
It's wonderful that she was able to represent her country this way as well, 5th Spaniard to win here at Augusta National. I loved talking to her about that distinct pride. What would you say about what you saw from her from that perspective of what it meant to her to represent her country that way?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, there were a few Spanish players in that field, and I thought it was so cool to see all those names even bunching up at the top of the leaderboard, because it shows how much the game is growing globally, especially in Spain. I mean, we've seen so many Spanish winners: Sergio Garcia, John Rahm, Maria Olazabal, who was waiting for her after she came off the 18th green. You could just see the shock on her face when she saw him standing there, and the weight of the moment for even someone like him, just the representation of now having a Spanish female golfer as one of the champions at Augusta National. It means so much to the global sport when you start to have a country rack up those accolades, especially one here. And I think she really embraced that entire kind of narrative and was so proud to be part of such an elite group.
What does the Augusta National Women's Amateur do for the women's game? What is that impact globally?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing is, for women's golf and the upward trend that it's been on, along with women's sports in general right now, is that venues matter so much for, the respect and the gravitas that we give to the women's game. When you see these girls competing anywhere, you're impressed. But when you see them hitting the same shots that the men hit, creating the same, or if not better moments than we've seen in the Masters. I'll point to asterisk tally on the first hole on Saturday, holing out for eagle. I think I read that there are only 5 other times that have happened in competition at the Masters, and she's one of them. So creating that legacy and adding the female representation into it is so important for the women's game, and that, when you see the Masters logo, when you see those colors, the sounds on the TV broadcast, the theme music, and then you see it associated with women, it just makes you feel included and the mystique of it all. And I think that's so important for the game to remember going forward, that these venues can help elevate it so much, and just integrating women into the fold in the history of the sport.
Now let's look ahead to the 89th Masters tournament.
Yes.
What should we expect?
I think we should expect the unexpected.
That's Augusta.
Yes, it's Augusta every year. I mean, you always get that feeling before the players start to tee off on Thursday that really anything could happen. And I think that's one of the most exciting parts about the beginning of the week. I would expect some of the biggest names in the game to really make a run at it this year. I'm looking at Scottie Scheffler, world number 1, Rory McIlroy, world number 2, who's coming into the tournament with probably the best form out of all those top guys right now. Xander Schauffele's a little bit injured right now. He's still coming back from that hurt rib. But I think in general, we can just expect to see great golf. I'm really excited to see what the first big buzzy shot is. There's usually on Thursday morning someone holes out from somewhere or makes a long putt or makes a miraculous par. And that's what I'm looking forward to see, is those moments unfold.
I read a piece that you and your colleagues did in The Athletic in which you chose a dark horse.
Yes.
You chose a certain player who you don't think will win the 89th Masters, but I did not see a prediction for victory.
Yes.
Let's start right there. Who wins?
I'm going Scottie. I know it can be a cop-out answer, but
it's
yes. But I've personally been doing some pretty extensive reporting on Scottie Scheffler and the way that his game fits at Augusta National specifically. I had great conversations with Ted Scott, his caddy, with Randy Smith, his coach since he was 7 years old, and just learning about how they perceive Scottie at Augusta National was really cool. Teddy and Randy actually both used the exact same metaphor to describe Scottie Scheffler at Augusta, and they compared him to a handyman with a full toolkit, which I thought was super interesting. And these were completely separate conversations, unprompted, and they used those same words to describe Scottie, and that he's just literally prepared for everything. He's never out of position because he has all the shots. And Augusta National demands so much from you that you can't not have a shot. It'll expose it, and you'll find yourself in a weak spot somewhere. And Scottie is one of those players who can be so creative. He grew up being coached by Randy, who would drop a ball behind a tree and say, hit it around it. He trained him to have that eye to shape shots and just come up with something when you need to. And I think that's one of the reasons why we see Scottie succeeding here so much. And I think in 5 Masters appearances now, he's never placed outside the top 20. How can you bet against that?
I remember a couple years ago on the eve of the 2022 final round, Saturday night 2022, I chatted with him and I asked him to what degree he'd allowed himself to consider that he might put that jacket on. And he said, if I win the Masters, it will change my life on the golf course, but it won't change my life at home. It won't change who I am. It won't change the way I perceive my life. And that allows me to play with a very distinct freedom and know that it's written and know that there's nothing more that I can do to be prepared to win this golf tournament. And I found that to be so telling about the way that he lives his life, so telling about his convictions. And I think it's really benefited him because he just seems to always be that way. The pressure, he seems impervious to it.
Absolutely, yeah. I think one of the reasons why he's able to play with that freedom is exactly what you mentioned, just the way that he lives his life. He doesn't place this, social or cultural importance on his accomplishments. It's really just, to him, it's just pure competition. And he describes himself always as such a competitive guy, even when he's playing ping pong or pickleball. He embraces the moment. One of the really striking things that I think Randy Smith shared with me is, he mentioned some players can crumble under the pressure. Some can buckle when they face some of those biggest moments. But Scotty doesn't just stay steady. He actually runs to those moments. He thrives under those situations, and the pressure actually fuels him. It doesn't help, make him bottle it all up. So I think that's one of the reasons why, Scotty is so good on every golf course, but I think actually the tournament itself, the Masters, is an advantage for him. It fuels those, juices within him that can bring the best golf out of him.
That's what the great ones do.
Oh yeah.
That's
how they do what they do.
MJ, Tiger, Kobe, they thrive, they desire to be in that moment where other people can't handle it. I also look at Koepka in that same light. I just think that his personality and his approach is so befitting that pressure. He wants it. All right. So who can't win the Masters tournament in Gabby Herzig's perspective?
Yeah, this might be a hot take. I also have another piece coming out later this week that I'm excited for people to check out, and it's about this idea of mental scar tissue. And one of the people I spoke to for that story was Rory McIlroy, and it's not like I don't think Rory will ever win the Masters, but this year in particular, the way that he's coming into this tournament, winning Pebble Beach, winning the Players Championship, there's, we have these conversations every single year about Rory, when is he going to do it? I think that if he has a chance to do it, it'll be when he's flying a little bit more under the radar. In the research for this piece, I basically sought out to figure out, when we say these terms like scar tissue or snake bitten or the way that people describe Rory McIlroy at the Masters, what do we actually mean by that? What is the psychological implication of what's going on in his head when he comes back here? And it was super fascinating to talk to sports psychologists about the idea of coming back to a place where you've experienced pain and heartbreak. Drama, exactly. And, Rory has one of the most infamous incidents, that 2011 Masters, of public disappointment. And he's basically forced to confront those memories every single year by coming back here. And the process that happens in the brain when you step up or approach a situation that's even remotely similar to something that you've experienced in the past is a unique one, and it's really difficult to overcome. Basically, your brain goes into protection mode because it's something that you don't want to experience again, and your brain treats that as wanting to help you survive. It's the same way that, if you look back 250,000 years ago, if we didn't remember as humans that we saw saber-toothed tigers here last time, we might be dead right now. Our brain steps in to help protect us, and it can trick you into thinking that a golf shot is the same importance as, fighting for your life. And that's what some of these golfers have to face at Augusta National each year, because you come back and you experience those same visuals, those same sounds and sights, and they can remind you of the past in a way that's really difficult to overcome. So I think I wanted to add like a nuance to that discussion that I don't think we normally get to. We just throw around this term of Rory McIlroy has these scars, these ghosts here. But I think it actually is a really difficult thing to overcome. And I'm not saying that, he can't ever get there, but I want to put in perspective for people how difficult it actually is.
He'll really appreciate that you took that time, that you took the time to offer context to something that is not just a linear process.
Exactly.
There's so much emotion involved in all of that. It's funny, I sat him down as well a couple weeks back, and one of the things that I asked him about was, every single year we ask you if this is the year. How dreadful is that for you? And he said, there's only one person who can fix it.
Right.
And I do wonder if the fact that he's not carrying the PGA Tour on his back anymore, he's not fighting Live Golf anymore, he's really gotten his personal life put together in a way that he feels whole. I think there's a freedom in that that's going to allow him to be able to flush some of those things that you're talking about this week. We'll see.
We'll see.
It's Monday afternoon.
Absolutely.
All right, dark horse.
Yeah, my dark horse, I have a few. The one that I wrote about was Will Zalatoris. He's been dealing with a back injury for the better part of the last year and a half, a serious surgery, a microdiscectomy, that actually had him out of the Masters in 2023, I believe. And he hasn't had the best record this year. He's kind of floating around the top 20, top 30. But I think he's been actually playing better than he's scoring. That's kind of what I'm telling everyone. I look back at that round at the Players Championship.
That's what I'm telling
Oh,
everyone.
yeah. I mean, if you're listening to me about golf picks, and you might need to rethink your...
You and me both, sister.
Yeah, I can say a couple things about him, but... go to the betting experts for for the real advice. But Will, I think, that round of the Players Championship that he had where he was making all sorts of birdies, I think he was 10 under in his last 27 holes at one point, and then he made a quadruple bogey and just shot right down the leaderboard. And you see that, I think, T30th on his record for the season at the Players, but you don't actually think back to the shots that he was hitting in the round and the nuances of what was going on there. And he's performed so well here. He has a solo second, 2 top 10s. He loves this place. He's my dark horse because I think he's one of those guys that can kind of fly under that radar, which is really important here, and not, block out some of the noise. He's not one of the people that is going to be asked 9 million questions about how you're going to do this year. And I think that can be really advantageous to some of these guys. Another one that I'll throw out there is Robert McIntyre. I love a lefty here. A lot of favorable shot shapes in the way this course was designed. He's had some top 20s here as well. And he's a great iron player and great in the wind, which can pick up here at Augusta and be really hard to decode.
All right, my friends, you heard it here first on Fore Please Now Driving. Go bet on Scotty Scheffler. You'll win about 12 cents by doing so. Robert McIntyre and Willie Z as dark horses. Really appreciate your time. Thank you so much. Absolutely fantastic.
Thank you so much, Marty. I appreciate it.
Carla Bernat Escuder won the 6th Augusta National Women's Amateur Saturday, and in so doing, became the 5th Spaniard to win at Augusta National Golf Club. She carded a 4 under par 68 in the final round, with thrilling shots on 10, 13, and 18 to fend off 16-year-old wonderkind Asterisk Tally and 2024 ANWA champion Lottie Woad, and joined fellow countrymen Sevi Ballesteros, Jose Maria Olazabal, Sergio Garcia, and her personal hero John Rahm as victors on the most celebrated golf course on earth. Carla, first, congratulations.
Thank you.
What an incredible achievement. As we sat down and said hello, you said you're still processing winning the Augusta National Women's Amateur. But as we sit here together on 13 discussing that it feels like we're sitting in a painting, what does go through your mind when you consider the last several hours of your life having achieved this?
I'm still over the moon. When I'm sitting here, I cannot stop thinking about the shot that I hit. I was just talking about it with my friends there. I was like, I don't know how many times I could hit that shot again out of 10 times. Yeah, it's been awesome.
So walk me through that. You had so many incredible shots on Saturday in winning that tournament, but one of them was right over here. Walk me through attacking that shot and what your perspective was.
So we're thinking about maybe hitting a 3-wood, a 5-wood in this case, to not be able to have the opportunity to go for it, because I'm pretty aggressive with that and my coaches don't really like that. They're always like, no, laying up, you can make birdie too. But yeah, I told my coach as soon as I hit the driver, if that's on the fairway and I say I'm going for it, don't try to stop me. Just let me cook, you know.
What is it about your personality that makes you want to be that aggressive on a stage like this with so much at stake?
Sometimes I just don't see the mistake, you know, like I don't think about it. I'm so focused on the pin and like get it close that the mistakes don't come to my mind. kind of. I think that's why I always want to go for it.
When you have the opportunity to play here at Augusta National and you walk in, what are you thinking as you walk in here?
I mean, all I can think about is Tiger. For me, I've watched all his Masters. Like, I love the Sundays, red and black. I just remember him walking all up these hills and making those last putts to win. I don't know. I'm such a big fan.
You join an incredible line of Spaniards to win here on these hallowed grounds, of course. Seve started it, and then Jose Maria Olazabal, and then Sergio, and then John Rahm, whom I know that you truly admire him and his game. What is it about John that you appreciate?
I really like his mentality, like how he competes. He just fights every shot, and he's like so fiery, which I think that's Spanish golf right there, the definition.
As you were coming off the course, I think you had a moment with Jose Maria. What was that conversation?
Well, he was just like, congrats. And so with Jose Maria, last year when I finished, I went to the range, I saw him and I was like, oh my God, Larrazabal, which is not his last name, right? And he's like, that's not me. And I was like, wait, what do you mean? And he's like, Olazabal. I was like, so embarrassed. I was like, I'm so sorry. I don't know how I just did that. He's like, no, it's okay. Like, I get that a lot because in Spain there are similar last names. But yeah, it was so nice to have him there. Such an honor. Yeah.
Have you heard from anyone else?
I've heard from Sergio. He just posted a video for me on his Instagram. I was like, when I go home and I saw it, I was like, that's only for me. Instead of like sending me a video, he like posted on his Instagram. I was like, wow.
So what does that tell you? That's one of those moments though, Carla, that you look at and go, oh, okay, that victory is so much bigger than just a win.
Yeah.
What does that tell you about the magnitude of that victory?
That tells me that I wasn't like thinking about it too much, you know. I wasn't aware of the magnitude when I was playing, because I mean, Pau Gasol, you know, the basketball player in Spain that played with Kobe in the Lakers.
I know exactly who he is.
He texted me, and when I saw,
he texted you.
Through Instagram. Yeah,
oh,
like DM.
What did he say?
He was like, huge congrats, and like he posted me on his story, and when I saw it, like jump scare, like scream, I was like, wait, he just posted me, and I told him like, I don't know if this day could have been better, like, but you just made it better. Yeah.
It's funny you talk about the moment not being too big for you, but I did have to chuckle. Watching you after your tee shot on 18, there seemed to be a moment of a bit of relief.
Yeah.
What was that?
I knew that one, it was an important one, because if you put it in the fairway, I mean, it's hard. You can make bogey, right? But as soon as I hit it, I know it was long too. So I was like, yeah, I want to have a short cup in. Like, I think I'm fine. I told my coach, I think I got it. Yeah.
I know that you were considering possibly a tattoo.
Yep.
Where are we in the tattoo process?
Well, I'm trying to convince all the people that said that they were going to do it, but I don't...
Oh, there's a group.
Yep. So I'm definitely getting the ANWA. So I'm convincing all my friends to do it, like everyone together. We're gonna do the flower. What
was the high point for you on Saturday?
I think number 18, when everyone stands up and claps for you. That walk is like, I think about it and I don't know, I get like emotional.
Walk me through that walk. What do you remember seeing? What do you remember feeling?
So again, I watch a lot of Tiger, so I all I see is like, I feel like I have him like in front of me, like walking with his perfect posture, you know, seeing
right.
That, and like I got the chills, and then I saw my ball on top of the hill, and I was like, oh no, like I'm gonna need to tube at this, you know. But yeah, it's just something that you cannot experience if you're not here.
So there's a unique pressure too, though. Asterisk Tally was right there with you. She'd been playing extremely well too. So you're not running away with this thing.
No.
You have to execute.
You know the funny part? I was just looking at Lottie all the time. Like, I was looking at the leaderboard, and her name was on top of mine. And I was all the time, I remember through this hole, I was like, okay, I'm like, I think I'm 2 up. If I make birdie here, it's 3 up. Like, I need to keep this going. And then I go to 18, I turn. And I see the leaderboard, and I see an 11 on there. I'm like, wait, I'm pretty sure I'm 12 under. Who is this? And it was this girl, and I was like, oh no, like, I was like, I mean, keep it together and like, let's make a 2-putt and get out of here.
ANWA, in my estimation, has been an incredible catalyst for women's golf.
Mm-hmm.
Having lived it now, what do you believe the impact of this tournament is on the women's game?
I think it's such a motivational tournament. Like, everyone wants to play here in Augusta. So you work really hard through, at least myself, high school, to be able to get here. Because, you know, getting here is really hard. Like, at least for international, only top 35 in the world get here. So you really work hard and try your best every single time you compete, because it's really important to be consistent.
Are you going to hang around this week? How long are you going to be here?
I'm trying to stay until tomorrow, but I have class. I'm a little behind on my class, yeah.
Let me explain something to you real quick.
Yeah.
All right, I'm an old man here.
Uh-huh.
Nothing you're going to learn at Kansas State on Monday matters. I'm sorry, it doesn't matter.
Tell that to my professors, though.
I'll make you a deal. We'll get John Rahm to call your professors and tell them
Oh my.
that you're not going to be present.
John
And
Rahm.
what class are you worried about missing?
Physiology of the exercise. Right.
Okay, let me tell you what. You could teach that class now, okay?
Yeah.
Don't worry about your class at Kansas State.
Yeah. There's one exam, like, I just want to ask my professor, can you, like, put it online for me or something, you know? Maybe he listens to this and he's like, let's do it.
All right, we're going to do our very best to make sure that you get an excused absence from your kinesiology class or whatever it is, okay?
It is.
Congratulations. Absolutely incredible performance. So inspiring for all of us who got to watch you battle, watch you hit just incredible shot after incredible shot after incredible shot. The 1-on-10, unbelievable. I want you to walk me through that too, because that's one of those ones that we're going to see forever.
Yeah, I mean, I think I've said this in a couple of interviews, but I hit the driver and I was like, good job, because I knew the tournament starts in the back nine. But after my second shot, I was like, oh, jump scared, because I kind of shanked it to the right. I was like, what was that? And then I saw the ball was playable, so I was like, oh, okay, because I thought it was in the bushes on the right. So I walked up there, and the ball was sitting pretty well for what I was. It was a kind of weird lie, so I was kind of like, oof, this is uncomfortable, but let's get through it. And yeah, I just really trusted my hands there. I think I hit it too well that I left it short. I was like, how am I leaving this short now? But yeah.
It's a sentence I've never said. I hit it too well.
Me either. I was like, what is this? But yeah, the putt, I practiced with my caddy the day before that putt. So I kind of knew how it was going to break, and like, I was like, this is the moment. You can feel it sometimes, how like, you know, the coin? I was like, this is one of those moments that is going to go one side or the other. So I was like, let's go.
So you chose heads, and that's where you went.
Mm-hmm.
You spoke about your caddy. Walk me through your relationship with her. It was so moving to see her emotion that you guys won.
Yeah. She was pretty emotional the day of the practice run. She was like, I'm just so proud of you, and like, she's been with me for years. She's watched me grow as a person too, you know. And she was like, I don't know, like, I'm so emotional these days. You're gonna graduate, you're gonna like kind of leave us. She was like, I don't know, she's everything I have here too. Like, my both coaches are like my dad and my mom here. So seeing her like that, I'm not really emotional like that. I think I'm a little more cold with these things, because I'm also like, hey, someone needs to have the head here, you know, like the brain.
You can't let your emotions get there.
No, so
you'll lose focus.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't cried yet. Everyone was crying yesterday. I'm like, when am I gonna cry? Like, I'm like, what's wrong with me, you know? But I'm just so happy. I don't know. I cannot even cry yet. I'm just, I don't know, loving it.
Sergio posted about you. Pau Gasol contacted you. Your name is not obscure anymore. I know it wasn't obscure in the collegiate women's game, in the AM women's game.
Mm-hmm.
But now there's guys having breakfast all over the world discussing you and your name. How proud are you of that for your family
Yeah, my
and
family.
for your country?
My family is really happy. I don't think they can believe it. My dad watched the news today. In Spain, there's like 2 main channels, and he said I was in both. He was like, I was crying. I don't cry for these things either. Yeah, they were just really, really happy, and I got so many messages from people that I really admire that I'm like, I think maybe I need to start believing this a little more, you know, like getting the idea that this happened. And like, I don't know, Alison Corpus too texted me. She gave me advice with all this media thing, because I'm not.
What'd she say?
She was like, make sure you do your best there, because normally my English is not really good, right? And I get a little nervous with it and the accent and everything, but she's like, just try your best and like make sure you're doing all you want to do and need to do.
Well, I can tell you, as someone who does this every single day with people from all different walks of life, some of the most famous, some of the most normal, absolutely tremendous job. And thank you for your spirit. Congratulations.
Thank you so much.
What an amazing accomplishment. And we're all so proud of you.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me.
What an inspiring performance by a fantastic young lady. Carla, I hope your professor gets it. If not, we'll have Rom call him for you. Coming up Tuesday on Fore Please Now Driving, I'll be joined by my great friend, ESPN's Scott Van Pelt, who for the first time will call the action in the Par 3 contest on Wednesday here at Augusta National. Thank you all so much for joining us. It's Monday at the Masters. We're so grateful to spend this week with you here at the 89th Masters Tournament. I'm your host, Marty Smith. Have a great day.